Welcome to the next theatre session. Glad you could join me over lunchtime. My name is Astrid McLean, and this is a theatre session about Azure Advanced Threat Protection. So we only have 20 minutes, so I'll give you the very brief overview. We'll do a demo, and if you like what you hear, if you want to go deeper, then we have another session at 2:15 this afternoon over in the F conference, whatever it is down the other side. You can find the session number. Okay, so how many people know about Azure ATP? All right, so hopefully you get to hear more. How many people have deployed Azure ATP? All right, the rest of you are going to be just like these fine people by the time you go back to work on Monday, because you're going to love it and you're going to want to deploy it in your environment. But let's see why it's important. How many people want to have a headline like this in the newspaper with your organisation name on it? Hopefully none of you. This actually really happened. So this is an attack that shut down an organisation for 2 full days. The attacker was in the environment for 5 months. So attackers hang around in the environment for a long time. Let me walk you through what actually happened here, just as an example of what Azure ATP can do for you and the sorts of attacks that it can find. So in this case, the attacker started by getting malware onto somebody's machine. So they did that compromised a machine, that compromised the user. They were then able to move laterally through the organisation. That means they take one identity, they can move to another machine, steal credentials for that machine, move to another machine, gain more credentials, the end goal being that they want to get to the domain administrators. Now in this case, what they did first was they got to the right privileged identity they wanted to get to when they started exfiltrating data. So they're pulling data out of the system. And you'd think that would be the end of the story, but it's not. 2 things happened at the same time after they did that. So one is they went out and said, all right, I've got domain admin credentials, or I want domain admin credentials. I'm going to run some remote execution on my domain controller to do more damage. But they didn't really want the defenders to find out what they were doing. So at the same time, they unleashed their malware on half the machines in the environment and took them down. So the responders were so busy trying to figure out what was happening to half the machines that they didn't notice what was happening, what was really happening in the environment. And so without any protection in your environment, you're blind to these sort of attacks, especially when they're complex things and there's multiple things happening at the same time. Ooh. That one. So this is a timeline generally of what happens with an attack. This is generally how attacks work. So they start off with compromising a machine, and whether that's with a phishing email or someone clicked on a website or they did something to infect a machine, then they have a compromised credential. There are other ways you can compromise credentials. So you can do things like brute force attacks. Password spray attacks are very common. The goal is to get one user in your environment. That's all they need to start. Once they have one user in their environment, they can compromise more, they can move within the environment. What attackers tend to do is a lot of reconnaissance to get a map of your environment, to check out the users, the IP addresses, those sorts of things. They move laterally through the environment, they try and get to a privileged identity or a privileged user, then they'll exfiltrate the interesting data, but at the same time, they'll go into what they call a domain dominance phase. So they're trying to control your Active Directory domain. What they want to do is make sure they leave enough of a footprint there, so even if you remediate the accounts that were attacked, they can come back and do some more, have some more fun in the environment. Now, Microsoft has 3 main products that we use to help protect your identities. So Azure AD Identity Protection is looking at sign-ins to Azure. So that's looking for risky sign-ins, those sort of things, so it's protecting you from that side of things. Cloud App Security is looking at cloud sessions. So once the user has logged on, we can see what the user's doing, whether it's Office 365 or other cloud apps, because Cloud App Security is our CASB, so it looks across a number of SaaS applications. But what we're going to look at today is Azure ATP, and that's protecting your Active Directory environment. So today that's mainly your on-premises environment. We're looking at the network traffic, and we're looking for compromised users, for lateral movement, and we're looking for those domain dominance phases. So we're going to focus on Azure ATP. We're looking to not only detect, but also help you investigate these kind of threats. And these are the kind of detections that Azure ATP can look at. So from a reconnaissance phase, when the attacker is just getting into your environment, they're looking for users, they're looking for IP addresses. There are known techniques to do this reconnaissance, and when we see this, when we see unusual behaviour, we'll alert you. So that's very early in the kill chain, and that's where you ideally want to find your attackers before they do anything. They may continue to move, so that's when we have compromised credentials. If we see things like an unusual VPN activity, a user suddenly VPNs from a location they've never logged onto before, from a device they've never used for, we can see that through the network activity when you integrate your radius accounting data into Azure ATP, and we can help analyse that data for you. We can also use behavioural analysis to understand what's normal for users in the environment. And then for lateral movement, there are some known techniques that attackers use to move laterally in your environment. Attacks like pass the ticket or pass the hash. Because we're looking at the network traffic, we're analysing the Kerberos activity, we can see when there is an unusual activity in your environment that indicates an attacker is moving laterally through that environment. And then lastly, if you're unlucky enough for the attacker to get to your domain controllers, when they establish dominance there, where they can install a golden ticket or a skeleton key, or one of the newest attacks that's come out kind of earlier this year, which is DC Shadow, where they stand up a domain controller, or a fake domain controller, they steal your domain information, they make the domain controller go away. Happens very quickly. But because we're looking at the network traffic, this is real-time monitoring, and so we're doing real-time detections on those sorts of things. How long do you think it takes for an attacker to get into your environment and get to the domain dominance phase? Guesses? About 48 hours. That's all it takes them to get there. However, what you want to be doing is making sure you've got detections in your environment so you understand what's happening. There are other attackers that live in your environment for a much longer period of time. All right, so who wants to see what Azure ATP actually does? Yeah, all right. Let's switch here to number 8. All right, here's our Azure ATP console. So what we wanted to do is we have a simple timeline. So we know that security operations teams, very busy. We want to make sure that the alerts that we have are very high fidelity and very few false positives. So all of these alerts can be sent to your SIEM system, but we're going to go through the interface because that has the best investigation experience that we have. So if I scroll to the bottom of my timeline, I can see in this instance where my attack started. So here when I look at the suspicious VPN connection, come on Wi-Fi, all right. So we can see a suspicious VPN connection. What we're giving you is evidence to say, this user doesn't normally connect from this location. We've profiled the users by looking at their network activity. We know what's normal and what's not. So we can see here they've logged on from Manila, they normally log on from London, and by the way, they're using a computer that they never used before. So it's an indication that Jeff Leatherman's account has been compromised. Maybe he's just gone on an unusual holiday with a new device. I don't think so. When we start to have a look at some of the other detections that are here, we can start to see, hopefully, with my network that's not working as well as it should. Yay. All right. We'll have a look at the account enumeration. So we can see a number of recon activities. So the reconnaissance activities that we see is here we've got the attacker using the same machine, because one of the things we saw is that they logged onto an RDP machine. They're starting to guess account names. Doesn't need passwords at this point. All we need to understand is who all the accounts are, and then I can go and brute force those accounts. And so one of the things they've done is we show you all of the accounts that the attacker tried, as well as any ones that were a hit. So in this case, they found Lydia's account. Now, one of the things you can do in Azure ATP is you can set up what we call a honey token account. So a honey token account is an account in your environment that normally would not get used. However, the reason it's a honey token is as soon as it gets used, we alert on it. So an attacker finds, in this case, Lydia's account, happens to be a domain administrator. We know she's not real. We know that this account should never be used, but it's an attractive to an attacker to try and log on to that account. And so we see this honey token account or honey token activity where Azure ATP is notifying you that something's going wrong in the environment. Somebody's starting to log on with an account that they shouldn't use. You've also noticed that Lydia's account is marked as sensitive. So all of the domain administration or all of the administrative accounts are marked in the environment as sensitive, so they're easy for your security operations people to recognize. You can also tag individual accounts as being sensitive or groups of people as being sensitive to make sure that your security operations people are paying attention to the right things in the environment. So as we continue up this poor organisation that's being attacked, we see here a couple of pass-the-ticket attacks. So I'll go into one of those. So a pass-the-ticket attack involves a number of things. It includes an identity or a user who's had their Kerberos ticket stolen. We have the machine, in this case the SharePoint server, and that's the machine the Kerberos ticket was stolen from. And then we have the RDP server where we've used that Kerberos ticket to go and access resources. So as part of the information we provide in our timeline, in our events, is a sequence of how this alert happened, and these are the elements that are involved in it. So in this case, if the tickets were stolen from that SharePoint server, let me just have a quick look at that server. It means that that server has been compromised. And here, if I go into Windows Defender ATP, because we have a nice integration with Windows Defender ATP, I can go and have a look and see what's happened on that machine. I can see, for example, that they've found some malware on that machine, and you can use Windows Defender's kind of playbooks to automatically remediate that. Oops, now I have to remember how to get back. Oh, there we go. So we can have a look at machines. But Azure ATP is really all about identities. So we want to have a look at Nick's account and see what else has happened. They've clearly stolen his credentials. Again, he's a sensitive user. We provide all of the information about Nick himself. So from a security operations point of view, it's easy to understand who he is. We can go to the directory data, and without having to search through numerous systems, I can see which groups he belongs to. I can see where he belongs in the organisation. The other thing that's important to understand for users is a timeline of what happened to that particular user. So we store all the activities of the user, all the logons, all of the accesses they made. But you can see here we also store the alerts that are associated with this user. Now we see the pass-the-ticket attack at the bottom that we started with. This is a domain administrator. So in this case, the attacker has gone on to do some remote code execution. Remember from the original attack timeline, I said what the attackers did is tried to connect to the domain controller. They actually tried to install a service. They tried to run things in the domain controller. We pick up the fact that there was a remote code execution against the domain controller, which is not normal. So we alert you on those. And here they've modified a sensitive group. So that's something else that attackers tend to do. They will add users to groups. We're not going to alert on every time someone adds someone to the domain administrators group. That would get quite noisy. But we use our behavioural analytics to understand when people are added to groups, who adds them to them, how often that happens, so we can determine when it's a usual event, whether it's abnormal, and therefore we'll alert on it. And you can also see here that there's some malicious replication of the directory services that are going to try and steal all of the directory data. One of the other things that Azure ATP helps you to do is it builds what we call a lateral movement path. So let's just zoom in on that a little bit. What that tells us is the path that attackers can take from a normal user, and if you remember Jeff Leatherman, who was the person that was, his account was compromised initially, and we saw that initial VPN detection from him. So there's a path from Jeff Leatherman to Ron Harper, and then all the way across to Nick. So even if the attack hasn't happened, if you have a non-sensitive user that's been compromised, We help build that path for you to see if, for example, Nick shouldn't be logging on to so many machines, or people shouldn't be administrators on so many machines, because that enlarges the attack surface in your environment. So we try to provide that information to you so you can not only investigate what happens, but you can do something proactive about it. So that's the very quick version of what the alerts do. All right, so we looked at the attack timeline, we talked about the honey tokens and sensitive accounts, we looked at things like the lateral movement path, as well as the ability to do investigation of devices with Windows Defender ATP. So, Azure ATP, how does it work? So we detect alerts through both behavioral analysis as well as known attack techniques. And we use the combination of those to make sure that we have the lowest false positive rate. Very easy to deploy and enable. You enable it, you deploy sensors on your domain controllers, on your Active Directory environment. That's all that has to happen. The data then goes up into the Azure ATP service where we do all of the detections. There's very little tuning or work you need to do. It starts working for you immediately. And the fact that we use Azure as our service means that we can scale from the very smallest organizations to the very largest organizations. And of course, we're using the power of Microsoft Threat Intelligence and the Intelligence Security Graph to make sure that we get additional signals into the system to help improve those detections as well. So, very briefly, we talked about the fact that we protect on-premises environments. What about everything else? What else are we doing? So we talked about the three products that protect identities. We talked about Azure Directory Identity Protection, Cloud App Security, and Azure ATP. We're bringing them together. So what we want to provide for you, and this will be coming in preview at the end of this year, is we're going to bring it together a unified identity investigation experience that includes activities and alerts not only from on-premises, but also from cloud and from your sign-ins from both cloud and on-prem, because Azure Active Directory Identity Protection will look at ADFS logs as well. So you have a complete picture of what it might look like. And I'll jump very quickly to the demo rather than showing the slideware, because this is real. So this is the Azure Active Directory Identity Protection console. You can see that I've selected one of my risky users, and we have this link here that says investigate with Azure ATP. So for anyone that saw some of the demos, on the first day where it was PowerPoints, it's real. So we're actually building this. And so this is our one identity page that has all of the information about this user, from the cloud all the way to on-premises. We provide an investigation priority. Our security operations peoples are very, very busy. They need to understand who is most important to investigate because they provide, they have the largest potential impact on the environment. And so we build that investigation priority not only based off the alerts, but also based on all the activities of the user. So the activities on their own, we look for the riskiest or the abnormal activities. On their own, they may be very small, low fidelity signals that may not warrant an alert. But when you bring them all together, we can build that into an investigation priority to help you understand who you should be investigating. And from a list of alerts that we have here, you can see that we have everything from leaked credentials, which comes from Azure Active Directory, to risky sign-ins. The suspicious inbox forwarding rules comes from Cloud App Security because it's looking at your cloud environment. Abnormal access to protected data, that's looking at data that comes from Azure Information Protection. It's looking to see whether an attacker is trying to get to confidential information. And then we have the suspicious VPN connection and the reconnaissance for directory services that we talked about that come from on-prem. So it gives you a complete picture from cloud to on-premises, because attackers don't care that there are two environments. They just want to get at your data. All right, so that was the world's quickest overview of Azure ATP. Where we're going next, where should you go now? Follow these wonderful people that have already deployed Azure ATP. Start deploying it on your primary user domains and set up those sensitive groups and those honey tokens. Look at the reports, look at the lateral movement graphs. Even without having an attacker in your environment, a lot of our customers have found that the hygiene in the environment is not great. They start to look at the lateral movement paths, realize that admins are logging onto too many machines, there's too much access in the environment, their attack surface is too broad. So those are the sorts of things that can help you immediately. As you go forward, protect all of your forests. Azure ATP now supports multiple forest environments. So whether you've got one, whether you've got 10, you can deploy your sensors on all of your domain controllers and have them report to Azure ATP. Monitor the alerts. We have a suspicious activity guide that explains each of the alerts, how to investigate them and what are the best remediation steps for you. It's a great first step for your security operations teams to build their playbooks. We've got a bunch of documentation. We have a product page you can start. I would encourage you in the product, there is a feedback button. People have said to me, I don't use that. That feedback doesn't go anywhere. It does. It truly goes to the team. It's a small team. They look at that feedback information. We want your feedback. We're updating the product based on that. If you're confused about the detections or it's alerting on something that you're not expecting, let us know through the feedback. We'd love to get in touch with you and talk to you about it. Don't forget to take the security challenge. That's over at the booth. So we get a lot of people over at the booth in the security area talking about Azure ATP, so come and talk to us. Come to the session at 2:15. Thank you very much. That's our quick 20-minute talk.